In the 1920s, cars were rare. They were precious. They were temperamental. And what may now be considered as chauvinistic was once chivalrous. Cars were treated like a delicate mistress. And this is where the term she came from. Once cars became popular, their styling pandered to this nurturing approach. Designed with feminine details to appeal to the strong man who stood there gazing upon the thing with a tear in his eye, normally far too stoic for his family to see. Then in the 1950s, bigger cars, more stern designs for those afflicted with a different set of lust and kinks. British designers modelling their ideas in either male or female guise in clay. The 1959 Mini, dainty and playful, just like the fun-loving ladies about to emerge from the cultural shift of the 1960s. The Rover P4100, much more manly than its predecessor, like an automotive bank manager in a bowler hat. And the P5, the addition of the pinstripe suit. Much the same with the P6, and then the SD1 came along and got sacked for embezzling funds. The Ford Granada, a beer-swilling businessman, whilst the Mark III Cortina sold enough kitchen units to be able to afford a few joints and call in sick on a Friday. But years before that, and a bit less manly, was the Mark I Cortina, clearly inspired by the actor Charles Hawtrey. The Rover 800 was Timothy Dalton in looks, charm and stature, so it's only natural that the Mark II copied him again, but older, with a better moustache. The Mark II Cavalier, a real dashing young man with long hair, although his charisma soon left him as he got older, and left even further, till he got to the point of being a real dullard that would share the same anecdotes over and over to anyone that he thought was listening. Great Britain designed all their cars around male or female. Italy, just lady cars. Germany styled all of their cars around efficient businessmen of incremental height, but very little variation in personality. Modern performance BMW just resemble army hardnuts. The M2 a step further, like a 5'5" action man with designer scars and a plastic haircut. Volvo, very masculine, but kind, but gentle, and with lovely chatter. Same kind of thing with Saab, really, but with zany haircuts, with the exception of the 99 that just looks like a walrus. But why do men still refer to their cars as she's, when most cars look like uncles with gout? Embarrassment? Possibly. Men lusting after men isn't always such a popular thing, especially when that other man doesn't even have a penis. So, much better to refer to a clearly masculine car as a she. The original Mini was clearly a lady, and the R50 was the same lady but with a bit of cellulite. And it was all downhill from there. Mini became disproportionate, and the old battle axe only has a few photos to prove that she had a glamorous past. The Fiat 500 was an old lady, but a generous old lady that would do all sorts of lovely, wonderful things for a family and anyone around. But like all old ladies, they'd become a bit of a liability on the roads and were soon packed off to a retirement home. Then in 2007, when this car was reanimated, it was the same old lady, but somehow a bit younger and a lot less likely to knit you a cardigan. The popularity of the Fiat 500 meant that soon it developed diabetes and was suddenly a bad caricature of its former self. French cars were a bit like weird neighbours, whom you tried to remain civil with so they didn't stick dog shit through your letterbox. They had quite a few nice ladies, but it was mostly overgrown women with facial hair. The Japanese didn't really know how to design cars, they just copied what everybody else was doing, until they stumbled over the Datsun 240Z and the Honda Prelude. Then they copied their own car, why not? Until a point came where they did have a couple of their own ideas and the rest of the world gasped in horror. They didn't do the anthropomorphic until the Nissan Micra, the ultimate old lady who could bake cakes day and night without fatigue. Around 2005, the Focus and the Astra became even more beta male than ever before, with their Primark office wear and their mum haircuts. They did all the work, but they never got a pay rise. There's more. People carriers, they can only ever be men, but men who are pregnant. And vans can only be men, with the exception of the Mark I Transit and its rather piggy face. All roadsters, convertibles, they can be man or woman, but they have to be wearing a bikini and flip-flops. And the Skoda Yeti, a car designed to look like the old man that will eventually end up buying it. But what got me started thinking about this in the first place is the Nissan Juke, which is considered to be one of the most deliberately ugly cars ever. What were they thinking? Why would they make a car that looks like that? It's neither male or female. It's just a blob of metal with bits stuck on everywhere to make it even more unappealing. And then something occurred to me. The Japanese weren't going for this male or female look at all. They didn't even consider it. They were just making cars. They didn't know what to make. And eventually, I think they got into the idea of them looking like animals. And I was looking at a Juke the other day, and for the first time, I thought, hey, you know what? When you think of it as an animal, it doesn't look too bad after all.